Hi, I'm Dana Trump. I'm with the Land Pride Service Department. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install a third function valve on a BX80 series Kubota tractor. This kit will fit a BX1880, a BX2380, a BX2680. These tractors will be equipped with a LA344 or the LA344S loaders. This kit will also fit the BX23S. That tractor will use an LA340 loader or the LA340S loader. The kit number 380-289A will be a Pioneer tip. The 380-339A will be a flat face tip like we got here. Up next, we'll unbox this and show you what's all inside. Okay, this is going to be a pre-assembled kit for the BX tractor. As always, they're packed in foam. In the kit, here's your pressure and return lines. Here's your handle. Your third function valve. Fittings are all on it. Mount is already attached. Here's the hoses run down the loader arm. And this will attach to the loader arm, the torque tube in front. Also in the kit, you've got your manual and also a fitting, zip ties, and this bag here. Next up, we're actually going to install the valve on the tractor. This tractor is small. There's a lot of places it's kind of hard to get to. So to make it quicker and simpler, I'm going to remove the loader from the tractor. Okay, to mount the third function valve to the tractor, as you can tell, the loader's removed. You got a long bolt and a short bolt that's supplied with it. The long bolt is going to go through this thicker piece on this bracket. The short bolt goes in this hole here. There's two holes here. You're going to line them up, attach the nuts on the back side, and torque them. Okay, the valve's mounted. The bolts are torqued down. Next on the list is we're going to hook up the pressure and return lines. These hoses are in this sleeve. They are the same length. So you got to know which one's pressure and which one's return. I'm actually going to cheat a little bit to make sure I stay correct, and I'm going to put a little bit of red tape on the end of the same hose. Verify it's the same hose. And that'll be my pressure line to the pressure port, the third function valve that goes back to the tractor. Okay, we got the tractor up on jack stand, tires removed. Next thing is to remove this console. There's 3 bolts underneath here. Remove those 3 bolts. Remove the handles. The console will pick up in the back, and there's 2 slots down here on the plastic. You just pick it up and pull back on it, and this console will come off. Okay, some of these, if they're too tight, I found putting a pair of vice grips on here and getting underneath with a small pry bar and prying, you can actually work them up a little bit, and then it's a lot easier to pull off. With the console off, this port here on the loader valve, if you follow it back, it's going to go to the top rear port on the side of the tractor. That's the pressure port on the tractor. Remove this hose and discard it. We will remove the shielding where the battery access is. We're going to get our hoses and run them through the battery compartment back to here so we can hook them up to the proper ports. Okay, now that the shielding for the battery has been removed, this is your cruise control linkage. We're going to remove that bolt and nut here. You got 2 bolts here. We're going to remove those and pull this piece of plastic out of the way. On the other side, there's another piece just like that. Remove 2 bolts, remove the plastic out of the way. Okay, we're going to start threading the hoses from the third function valve side to the rear of the tractor. The third function valve is going to get the 90-degree fittings. This valve, the pressure port, is the rear port that you see. The front port is the tank port. Remember the red tape so I can keep which one's pressure. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on this valve. These hoses run right beside it and up through beside the battery right here. Now it's perfect time to get these attached. That way you get them timed correctly and clocked right. Okay, got the hose fished up over the top of the battery and front of the battery holder toward the front of the tractor, come across. What we did is we come through here with the hoses and pulled them on out. We got done, we shoved them down through there and laying across the mower deck at this point. Now we're going to follow them hoses on back to hook up to our loader valve. Now we've got the hoses run and they're hooked up. We've got the hose with the pressure hose, had the red tape on it I put on there. It goes back, hooks inside the tractor. We'll show you that in a little bit. The return from the tank return from the third function valve hooks up to this port here on the loader valve. If you noticed, we actually loosened this jam nut and rotated this elbow down a little bit to get the hose more of a natural straight line instead of a big curve. Then tighten your jam nut back up, tighten your fittings up. Next, we'll show you underneath the tractor. Okay, the pressure line comes back to the tractor. Again, top rear port. There's a 45-degree fitting in that clear bag with zip ties. You will need it in this location. Put that 45-degree fitting on the fitting that's on the tractor. Hook your hose up. Get these set just right so you can get the wrenches on it to tighten it down. At that time, zip tie all the hoses up in a safe fashion. If you have a mid-mount mower on, make sure that your hoses are far enough away from your loader linkage that moves up and down that you do not have any harm done. At this point, we're going to install your panel in place. After that, we're going to put the handle on, run electrical down through here, and we'll show you where that goes. Okay, for electrical, console's back on, run the wire through the boot. Again, you will actually have to snip out part of the boot to allow room to get the wire through. To make a smaller hole, you can actually take the cover off the fuse, lead the cover in first and then the fuse, put it back together. We're going to go down through the back side of this loader lever. We're going to go behind it. We're going to let the wires drop on down below because there's plenty of places to zip tie that wire to follow it down to the hydraulic hoses. Then we will follow the rest of this with hydraulic hoses up to the battery compartment. Okay, now that you got the handle on, again, when you put this handle on, turn it in a position that you like it. Everybody's got their own style. Got the lines running down through here, again, with the boot notched out. Zip tie where possible. I got the wire running down behind this mount underneath. We got plenty of room to zip tie the wire to this bracket. And then we're going to go to our hoses that go up through here, and we're going to run this clear up here to the battery compartment. Okay, got the wires run up here. The battery wire. The fuse is going to go on the hot side of the battery. The black wire, of course, goes to the ground. The other part of the harness continues over here. Got it ducked behind a bracket. The green wire is going to go to the bottom solenoid on the valve. The black and white wire tip is going to go to the top solenoid. Up next is we'll need to put our fillers back in here beside the battery. Okay, the filler for the right-hand side of the tractor. What I did is I shed this hose back and this wire where it's comfortable. I measured, cut out a notch. Now this thing will fit in here. Remember, when you're going back, bring your lever up through your slotted hole and hook your cruise control lever back in as well. Okay, on the left-hand side of the tractor, again, I shoved these hoses back where they was comfortable. I measured and I notched this portion out. So at this point, we will put this together and put the bolts in. At this point, you're ready to put your battery cover back on. After we get this installed, we're going to take the hoses that run down the loader arms to the torque tube and get them installed on the loader before we put the loader back on the tractor. Okay, since the loader's off, I'm going to take advantage of the extra space to work with. I'm going to go ahead and mount this bulkhead mount to this torque tube, and then we're going to take the hoses and run the hoses up. The hose on this particular model is going to go above this lift cylinder on the left-hand side and come out and wrap around and hook up to the bulkhead mount. Okay, the hoses that go down the loader arm, they're the same length, same part number hose. Coming through here above this cylinder, like I stated before, we come down here, we'll show you a picture of it. We went around here and come in this hose stay for the hard lines on the left side. Come underneath this rod. I set this about halfway to allow room to get these elbows on. When you get to this part here, you want to go back and grab your hoses and rotate them to get them clocked right, to hook onto your fittings on your bulkhead connectors. At this point, everything tightened down, we're ready to put the tractor onto the loader. Okay, with the loader reinstalled on the tractor, some of you might notice these hoses are laying up against your hood. All you do is grab a hold of them and twist them. Get some pressure in the line, they ain't going nowhere. At this point here, make sure you double check for any leaks. Put your grapple on and actually operate your third function valve. If something doesn't sound or act like it should, you better check your pressure return line. That's how important they are. If you have more questions, consult your operator's manual or see your local Land Pride dealer. For more instructional videos, go to Land Pride's YouTube channel. I'm Dana Trump. Thank you for watching and thank you for buying Land Pride.